Today we're going to talk about everything that's holy in the G-Wagon Bible. I want you to open up your books to chapter 460, paragraph line Doka. It's a small one. There's not very many of them in there. What we have here today is, I'll preface with, it's not for sale. It's in for some upgrades and modifications, but it is too damn cool not to show anybody. This is a holy grail, folks. This is a 1983 W460 Doka pickup truck. Behold. These are incredibly rare. I'll say that again, incredibly rare. Really cool truck. Obviously, it's not one of ours. It came from these guys. And the clients that purchased this truck drove it from Utah to our shop here in Colorado. It actually made the trip great. We just have a few specific upgrades that we're going to do to this. So, for those of you wondering, what is this truck? For starters, this is what we call a W460. This is a 1983 model, and from this point forward, this is what G-Wagons look like from the factory, the ones that we know of, that we see. I know there's some people out there that maybe driven these over in Europe and other parts of the world that know all about these. Please correct me because I'm going to make a lot of mistakes here. I'm just putting that out there. So anyway, this is a W460 1983 model, and it has been engine swapped. So to start with, we're going to go under the hood. Because let's face it, these trucks were all dogs from the factory. They couldn't get out of their own way. But this one now has the legendary OM606. This is one of the most desirable diesel motors for early G-Wagons because it allows you to go full mechanical on it. In other words, you can pull a cable, actuate a lever on the pump, which opens a fuel valve, which puts fuel into the cylinders, which goes out the turbochargers, not the exhaust, which equates into what we like to call happiness. So this one is give or take about 250 horsepower. It's largely OEM stock, but it runs very, very good. It's quiet. It's like a sewing machine. It just scoots right along. They actually did a pretty good job with the swap. It is mated to the 5-speed manual transmission. It does have an intercooler, and it's even got air conditioning. Who knew? Now, it doesn't work. We're gonna have to change a little thing on that to make it work right. But man, this is a clean and tidy engine bay. I just want to throw that out there. There's a lot of engine bays that look pretty weird, but it's pretty nice. It's a pleasure to drive. So we're not gonna do a whole lot here. Some things we are gonna do, we're gonna ditch this and do a synthetic cable. We're gonna add some lights to the front. We're gonna go LEDs on the lights. We're gonna get a Rigid Industries adapt light bar up there as well to really spruce it up quite a bit. Now, here's the part that's interesting. It does have the OG Hutchison beadlock wheels that are the most desirable ones, but it's running on squished down factory springs and spring spacers. That's a no-fly zone for us. So what we're gonna do to this truck, for lack of better words, is a goat mod. So we're gonna do a 2-inch lift. We're gonna do caster correction bushings. We're gonna get rid of all those rubber brake lines. We're gonna put braided stainless steel lines on it. And this truck is getting the top of the line Evictus pre-runner suspension system. And you've heard me talk about this in the past. We're bringing this to market. We're one of the very few suppliers in the US for this. And it is by far the best, hands down, off-road, on-road, one and done suspension for your G-Wagon. I've run them on a couple different trucks, and every time I'm just completely blown away. This truck is missing something very crucial though. It's got no steps or rock sliders. So naturally, we're gonna fab up a set of our rock sliders for this, but we're gonna custom make them a little longer so you have a little bit more step back here so you can access the bed. Pretty cool. Again, this is what they call a Doka. There's a German word for it, which basically means double cab. And then from there, from the factory, you can spec whether you had a bed or no bed or utility or whatever. The primary use for these trucks was utilities, municipalities, military, and it was a special order thing. Incredibly rare numbers. Like, I heard that there was a dozen of them that went out in one batch and just a couple of onesies and twosies here and there. So pretty rare truck. I think I've said that 5 or 6 times. Anyway, the backside is kind of interesting. It's not like your normal pickup truck because you have one of these type of beds. So if you're tired of tripping over your tailgate and having to get in and out of here, you can just open it up and gently slide in whatever you want. Now, if you're a motorcycle guy or dirt biker and you want to put your motorcycle back here, ain't gonna happen unless you're a short dude riding Pee-wee 50s. But this is where you hide your high lift jack, your axes, your shovels, your max tracks, all that fun stuff to do nefarious activities. Anyway, you got the cool T-bar stuff. You can put tie down things back here. This is a pretty nice utilitarian bed. Lots of options back here. Anyway, we're gonna do some interesting stuff. more to follow. But coming around backside, it is very clean, very tidy, very sano. The good news is it's also came to us with a full tank of fuel. The bad news is we don't know where the fuel gauge works, and we used a good bit of it getting over here, which makes me glad that we also have the spare tank back here. So for those of you that want a G-Wagon with 2 tanks, this is the simplest and most elegant solution right now for 1983. Sorry, I'm just being a smartass. Anyway, had to share this with you. We're gonna take it for a drive. Before we do that, you can see the inside. Cool thing is you can fit 3 mid-sized children across the back, or 2 adults and a plate of tacos in the middle. They thought of everything here. The inside, well, it's the inside. It's plain. You've got some air conditioning, you've got some HVAC, you've got some gauges, some of which work, some of which don't. We're gonna change a lot of the stuff out and make it more awesome, but it's a kick in the pants to drive. Let's go drive it. So inside the truck, you're gonna notice it looks a little bit different than your typical G-Wagon. You've got a very analog dash and more analog stuff here. You've got your typical gear shifter, you've got your transfer case shifter, the knob's on upside down, and there's actually an extension that's missing inside of here. So we're gonna fix that. You've got your front locker, your rear locker, and a spot for your cell phone and sunglasses. See, they thought of everything. Now, there's a couple things that are weird about this that we're gonna have to fix. For starters, your seatbelt. Well, this is in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna have to buckle it in over here to make it work right. That way you can unbuckle it accordingly. Anyway, fun tricks. Other interesting thing about the 460s of this era is there's no rear view mirror. So what they did, they equipped it with one of these. Yep, nothing back there. Yeah, so that's what you have to do because you don't have a mirror. I'm kidding, we're gonna fix that. We're actually gonna do a digital wolf box system here that's got the 360 with the multiple cameras front and back. So it's digital, you can see everything, and it records. So a little bit of a technological upgrade. Here we go. Also with the lights, just while we're here talking about before we go drive this behemoth, we have some block off plates and some places that can be populated. We're actually gonna put a separate fuse panel up underneath the dash of this truck, but we're gonna populate these with OEM style switches to control the auxiliary lights. We're gonna put front, back, roof rack, everything. So it'll look factory, but it's gonna have some modern tech, and we're gonna run it through its own fuse panel so we don't risk any fires. With that being said, it does have an aftermarket AC system. That's this guy down here. Yes, well, it blows and not much else. We got to pull it apart. There's a problem with the condenser here or there. Other fun fact, some people know what this is, some people don't. This is meant to be an idle up knob. So early G's with this, I think they had the 617 motor, which is a really, well, it sounded like a bucket of nails. Anyway, you fire it up and you could turn this and it would cause the truck to idle up so it would warm up faster. Obviously, it's got a motor swap and that's no longer applicable, so I don't know what we're gonna do with this. We should maybe have one of those things where we turn it up to 11 spinal tap style, because why not? And as usual, you've got one of those. So if you ever want to test and see if you've got voltage, just lick your finger and stick it in there. It gets fun. Anyway, turn the key on, cycle the glow plugs. I don't know how long this timer's for, but I'm wildly impatient when it comes to glow plugs, and it's 80 degrees today. Fun fact, 2 days ago, we got 10 inches of snow, only in Colorado. Who knew? Anyway, buckle up for safety, folks. God, that's awkward. That's so stupid. So, 5-speed manual. Ooh. Okay, so the one thing I will notice on this immediately is the turning radius is not what you're used to with your typical G-Wagon. It's very wide. So you got to get used to that. There's no tachometer in this either, but we're going to add one. We're going to add a digital unit. We're going to go with the speed HUD unit because we can spec out the gauge, layout, font, everything, and it looks largely factory. We don't want to get away from this. We want to pay homage to the originality of it. Now, if you hear me, it sounds like I'm beating up on the truck a little bit. I'm not. It's actually a very, very nice truck. We're just sticklers and particulars on the details. So we're going to do what we can to get this thing put over the top. It's a very, very special truck, and it deserves to be treated very specially. So, that didn't sound right, specially, whatever. But here's one of the things I like about this. Not that part, you gotta roll the windows up manually. Here's one of the things I like about this build is it's a very mild engine build, meaning that they used a small element pump, like a 6mm pump. So it has good low end response and it's not super smoky. In other words, it's clean. It gets out of its own way from a low RPM. It gets right up and it gets right on the pipe. It gets moving. Oftentimes when people ask for a big build or big motor build, sorry, it's really hot and Blake's gonna sweat. When people ask for a big horsepower build, we run into issues where the truck smokes a lot and it's got a larger turbo to support that kind of power, but you lose a lot of your low-end response. So this is where it's really important to firmly understand how the truck is going to be used and build the motor accordingly. And they've done a really good job with this. So because they kept it stock with a mild, I can tell the timing's a little bit advanced in it, which is great for this. It gets out of its own way. It has just enough power to keep it going. It'll go highway speeds, and it's not really dirty. I get a little bit of smoke out the back, but it's not obnoxious. And granted, we're at 5,000 foot, so we're going to have a little bit of that too. But it's by and large a really nice driver. I like it a lot. God, this thing's hot. Why does this thing have heat coming at it? What the fuck? It's 80. Oh. Turn this up. Jesus, it's hot as bull here. There we go, that's better. Wow, it's hot. Thermostat works, it gets up to temp fast. I guess the fuel gauge does work, kinda, because we started at a full tank and now we're at a half. Good thing we got our spare fuel tank back there. Anyway, the reason we're putting a tachometer on this is I think we're turning within a healthy RPM range, but going through what I'm hearing, we're probably between 2,500 and 3,200 RPM as we're driving along. I don't drive these trucks every day, so I don't hear all the tones of an OM606, but we're definitely above 2,500 going 60 miles an hour. Realistically though, it goes down the road very nicely. I like it a lot. Once you get the heat turned off when it's 80 degrees outside, it's a little nicer. Steering wise, we're gonna tighten this up a little bit, but man, I gotta say, everybody looks at you when you're driving this because nobody quite understands what it is. They're probably looking at it being like, man, that is either the weirdest or coolest looking Mercedes G-Wagon, Jeep, what do they call those things? Gladiator. Jeep Gladiator edition. So yeah, when people are looking at it like, that's a weird Jeep Gladiator Mercedes edition. Whatever. Anyway, what they don't realize is there's probably less than a handful of these that are still floating around as factory Mercedes Dokas. And we happen to be driving one, so this is Friday. This will go down in the day of history as being great as we recite in the great book of 460 in the chapter of Doka. It's a very small chapter because there's not very many of them to go over. This is a joy. This is a cool truck. I see why people get excited about these. Well, hell, I got excited about just looking at the damn pictures. So everybody looks at you in this. We got this gentleman in the Camaro who's right behind us and just can't take his eyes off how cool this thing is. Even being stalked by a Toyota Sienna minivan, can't figure out what this is. So much joy. Obviously, when you're in one of these, you're driving the coolest truck on the road, period. So this video is also meant to go out there that if anybody else has one of these, call me. I want to know about it. I want to feature it. I want to build one. We want to do everything to these because these are what we live for. The coolest, most unique, special G-Wagons ever. This is always a great day, and I sincerely appreciate our clients coming to us and allowing us the opportunity to make this thing super special. Now we're in a field. Anyway, I want to point it out that this is a very special truck, and we're not trying to beat it down. This is a rare example, and we are just simply excited to show it off to the world, and we are especially ecstatic that the owners of this truck has trusted us with the opportunity to make it extra special, over the top, and uniquely theirs. So I really appreciate that about those. Also, there's going to be a few key watchers that have trucks that are slated to be turned into pickup trucks. I know who you are. I'm probably going to get a phone call right after this saying, how soon are we going to start? The answer is very, very soon because I got two of you. So anyway, if this is something you're interested in or you've got one, get in touch with us. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity to say that we're going to start something on Instagram called G of the Week. This means I want to see your special G-Wagons. whether it's an awesome street build, a gnarly off-road build, an overland build, a Baja build, or just your prized daily. I want to see it. We want to know about it. We're going to pick one every week. We're going to put it out there as G of the week, and hopefully we get to see yours out there. So anyway, I'm Joe Gosher. You know who I am. Nothing but G's. Our company has switched over from Alliance Auto Care to Alliance Motorworks, and we did this on purpose so that we can house our 3 major brands and our core competencies to better serve you. So check it out. The website is going live here shortly. If you have any questions about this, get in touch with us, but stay tuned because we're going to do a follow-up video on this as we complete this build and get it to its rightful owner. So thanks again.